Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're doing something really cool. We are literally peeling back the asphalt of our modern highways to uncover something massive. We're talking about highly sophisticated civilizations that thrived in North America long before 1776. We usually picture the history of this continent starting the second European ships popped up on the horizon. But today, we're exploring the globally magnificent societies that shaped this land millennia before the United States was even a concept.
So, think about this for a second. What if a totally forgotten world of ancient, massive cities is buried right under our fields, our forests, and even our deserts? Just imagine that the ground you walk on every single day might literally hold the foundations of enormous earthworks and highly complex cultures that flourished exactly where you're standing right now. Crazy, right?
We're about to completely shatter the whole myth of an untouched primitive wilderness. When we actually look at the archaeological evidence, we find a continent that was absolutely bustling with complex life, incredible architecture, and grand social organization thousands of years ago. We're not looking at some empty, blank canvas of a landscape. We're looking at the remnants of vibrant, thriving nations.
Let's trace those very first human footprints. We see pre-Clovis arrivals over 15,000 years ago, which, by the way, pushes our understanding of human presence way further back than we ever thought possible. And from the iconic stone tools of the Clovis culture around 13,000 years ago, we see this incredible, gradual evolution. It leads straight into the monumental builders of the ancient Ohio Valley, with the rise of the Adena and then the Hopewell traditions.
Part 1. Earthworks and Astronomy.
These ancient peoples didn't just casually build dirt piles. They utilized advanced mathematics and some seriously complex engineering to construct enormous geometric earthworks. We are talking about colossal shapes carved directly into the earth, showing off highly sophisticated landscape design. And get this, it's even more fascinating. These massive structures had precise astronomical alignments. They were perfectly designed to track the movements of the sun and the stars across the changing seasons. It's like a giant earthen calendar.
Part 2. The Desert Architects.
Let's jump over to the American Southwest. At places like Chaco Canyon, the Ancestral Puebloans built unbelievable settlements entirely out of stone. Right in the middle of a totally unforgiving desert, the engineered complex road networks, monumental multi-story buildings, and incredibly sophisticated agricultural and irrigation systems. They didn't just eke out a survival in the desert, they completely mastered it, creating a thriving cultural and ceremonial hub.
Part 3. Cahokia, Ancient American Metropolis.
20,000. Just let that number sink in. That was the estimated peak population of Cahokia. The absolute climax of ancient American urbanism was happening right beside the Mississippi River. If you wanted to find a bustling, massive metropolis centuries before European colonization, you wouldn't be looking at the coasts. You'd look straight to the American Midwest. Imagine just walking through this ancient city. Thousands of people gathering around enormous earthen pyramids in these giant plazas. You've got craftsmen shaping stone, farmers out working the fields, and highly complex political organizations running the whole shebang. This sprawling urban center literally rivaled the size of many European cities of the exact same era. No way, right? But it's true.
So a big question pops up. How exactly did a metropolis in the Midwest or a massive stone settlement out in the desert actually acquire their resources? I mean, if they were only building locally, how on earth did they get all the diverse, exotic materials that modern archaeologists keep digging up?
Well, the secret is that these centers were the complete opposite of isolated. The whole myth of disconnected, scattered, lonely tribes, it just doesn't hold up to the archaeological evidence at all. The truth is, this continent was deeply interconnected.
There were vast, continent-spanning trade networks. Think about it. Copper was being mined way up near the Great Lakes. Obsidian was brought all the way in from the western mountains. And marine shells, they traveled all the way from the coastal regions. Minerals, pottery, and food were moving across thousands of ancient miles. They formed a highly organized economic web that connected communities across massive chunks of North America. It's like an ancient continent-wide highway system for trade.
Part 4. Transformation and Enduring Survival.
So, what happened? Did millions of people and thousands of years of civilization just vanish into thin air, like some old legends claim? It's a question that has honestly puzzled people for generations whenever they stare at abandoned cliff dwellings or these overgrown earthen mounds.
Well, the answer is absolutely not.
The archaeological evidence points far away from mysterious disappearances and points directly toward complex, very human transformations. These societies deliberately reorganized and migrated, and they did it because of real-world pressures, things like severe climate change, extended periods of brutal drought, shifting trade networks, and big political reorganizations. Basically, when their environments changed, these incredibly adaptable societies changed right along with them. They opted for strategic migration rather than just sticking around for a stubborn collapse.
It is absolutely crucial that we toss out this completely unsupported myth of vanishing civilizations. We really have to separate actual historical evidence from wild speculation. The reality is that these were dynamic, adapting peoples. They didn't vanish. They evolved, they packed up and moved, and they formed brand new communities that carried all of their ancient knowledge forward.
Part 5. European Contact and Continuity.
Now, this ongoing story of adaptation eventually collided with the most significant disruption in the entire continent's history, the arrival of Europeans. You literally cannot tell the story of ancient America without addressing the catastrophic shift that happened when these two totally different worlds finally met. European exploration and colonization brought absolutely devastating impacts. It radically disrupted all those ancient networks we just talked about, the introduction of new, devastating diseases, combined with forced displacement, outright warfare, and entirely new political systems. It created an extreme cultural disruption that forever altered the trajectory of the continent's original inhabitants.
Yet, and this is probably the most important takeaway of this entire explainer, Indigenous history did not end there. Despite the overwhelming, massive disruption of colonization, the story of the descendants of Cahokia, of Chaco Canyon, and the Hopewell tradition, it continued.
Indigenous nations survived these incredible hardships through just immense resilience. They fiercely resisted displacement, they adapted to some incredibly harsh new realities, and they carefully preserved their ancestral knowledge and traditions. And most importantly, they remain alive today as vibrant cultures and living nations. They are the direct, unbroken link to that incredible ancient world we've been exploring today.
So when we step back and really look at the evidence, it changes absolutely everything about how we view the timeline of this land. We have to completely shift our perspective. We have to move away from this flawed view of just a few hundred years of history, starting in 1776, and embrace the reality of a grand saga spanning literally millennia. North America has always been a stage for vast interconnected human achievement.
Long before there was a United States, there was a deeply complex, brilliantly engineered, and globally magnificent America. The traces of the societies that shaped this continent long before any European ships arrived are woven into the very dirt under our feet. It's an epic history of innovation, of early urbanism, of sprawling trade, and profound, incredible adaptation.
So I want to leave you with this final, really thrilling thought. Knowing what we know now about the sprawling ancient trade routes, the massive earthen pyramids, and the highly advanced desert cities, the next time you're just walking down a modern street or driving down the highway, ask yourself, what ancient stories, what lost artifacts, and what forgotten cities are still sleeping just beneath your feet, waiting to be uncovered?